What's going on, guys? Welcome to my UFC 284 post-fight live stream. Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski in the main event. An incredible fight. We're going to talk about that. We're going to break down some other fights. I don't know how deep we're going to go on the card because, to be honest, this card was terrible in general. Top three fights delivered for sure. Top three fights I was looking forward to. There's a lot to discuss. The main event and the co-main and main, obviously those were the fights we were most looking forward to. Were the best fights on the card. We're going to discuss, was Volkanovski robbed? That seems to be a massive topic. Before I get into anything, guys, for those of you who joined me for my live fight watch along, I appreciate every single one of you. I really do appreciate it. And do me a favor, if you're watching the post-fight right now live, like the stream, and if you're watching for the first time and you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. We're going to go deep on the main event. I think there's a lot of underlying things that nobody's even mentioning that we're going to discuss on this live stream. We're going to talk about the co-main event in depth, and we're going to touch on the featured fight on the main card. We might talk about some other fights, but the way I do these post-fight live streams is what I do is I go through the fights, I discuss the notable fights, and then at the end of the video or end of the stream, I start answering questions. So when I start getting close to that, I will let you guys know. I will let you guys know when I'm starting to get close, and you guys can put your questions in the chat. Try to put them with question marks. It's easier to find. Patty Mills, thank you for the $2 super chat. Obviously, the messages are already flying in like crazy. I'm not going to be able to read them all. But we're going to jump into the fights. The main event is Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski. Islam Makhachev wins via decision. Two judges had it 3-2 for Islam. Two judges had it 4-1 for Islam. Let me actually look up the scorecards real quick. UFC 284 scorecards. Let's take a look. Oh, that's not right. Islam scorecards. I'm not sure which rounds they gave what. Okay, so one judge gave Islam Makhachev the first, second, and fourth round. One judge gave Islam Makhachev the first 4 rounds. And one judge gave Islam Makhachev the first, second, and fourth round. So there you go. I don't think those are horrible scorecards. We'll talk about them a little bit more here in a second. But let's go through it round by round. How did I score it? Let's start off with that. The first round, both guys looked incredible. Volk, as well as Islam, both kind of started a little bit tentative. Volk landed, I think it was a left hand that kind of stumbled Islam back. I don't remember for sure if it was a left hand, but it was a solid punch. There was a crazy exchange where Islam landed with his forearm on the side of Volk's head that hurt Volk. Then he landed a head kick, then went after him, then got a takedown, and controlled him for a little bit at the end of the first round. I think the first round was clear-cut. I think Islam Makhachev took round 1. I thought it was pretty clear. I didn't really think it was up for debate. Second round. Second round was very, very close. Volk hurt Islam. I think it was with a punch. Islam hurt Volk. Landed a couple good, solid knees on Volk. Islam got a takedown. Volk got right back up. It was just a very competitive fight. I thought round 2 in real time, I really thought it was a coin flip. But I said, you know what? I think Volk landed a little bit better shots. And, they both kind of hurt each other, so it kind of canceled each other out. I gave round 2 to Volk. Round 3. Round 3 was also very, very close as well. You had round 3. Islam was landing good body kicks. You had Volk pumping the jab out there. Volk landed some good leg kicks. There was some clinch battle in the third round. I think at one point, Volk almost got a takedown. I think it was in the third round. I can't remember for sure. This third round was very close, and there was really no, I don't think Volk got taken down in that round. I'm pretty sure. This round was very close. I gave it to Islam. I thought Islam landed the better shots on the feet. I thought it was close, but I thought it was clear enough that Islam landed the better shots on the feet. And then also you had the fact that Islam had some control time in the clinch as well. You add that into it to kind of, when it's just such a close round. Round 4, and I think round 4 is going to be a very controversial round for a lot of people. Islam looking good on the feet. Takes Volk down. Volk starts crawling to the fence. But before this, and this is a major factor, before this happened, because it was like 3 minutes left in the 4th round, Islam was landing the better shots on the feet. Okay? Volk gets taken down. He attempts to crawl to the fence. He's talking to the crowd. Islam jumps in, sinks double hooks in, gets his back, gets a body triangle up against the fence. Starts fighting for the rear naked choke. Volk so good defensively, so confident in that position. And Islam had nothing to offer for the rear naked choke. Volk then starts realizing, I guess I'm not getting out of I guess I'm not getting out of this position. He starts throwing punches backwards and punching Islam in the head. How effective are they? We're going to talk about that here in a second. I gave the 4th round to Islam. Okay? I thought he landed the better shots on the feet when they were striking. For the 2 minutes or so they were striking. He got the takedown. Even if you want to say he did nothing with the takedown, the shots on the feet from Islam, I think, were better than the shots that Volk landed on the ground, even though Volk landed more on the ground. Also, Islam landed a few shots on the ground as well. 5th round, probably as clear as round 1 was for Islam. The round 5 was clear for Volk. It was kind of a drop. It was kind of a half-hearted takedown. A punch landed while Islam was looking for a takedown. Well, it started off, Islam looked okay in the 5th round. Started off looking okay. His striking was looking good. He was landing some good shots. This fight shocked me in a lot of ways that we're going to talk about here in a second. But Islam was landing okay shots on the feet. Looks for a sloppy takedown. Volk hits him with a punch as he looks for a sloppy takedown. Could you consider it a drop? Sure. I don't know if I wouldn't say 100% certainty that it was, but it looked that way. You can count it as that. Nonetheless, Volkanovski finishes out the round on top, lands some good solid ground and pound. Volk clearly takes round 5. So to sum up my round by round scoring, I had round 1 for Islam, I had round 2 for Volk, I had round 3 for Islam, I had round 4 for Islam, and I had round 5 for Volk. Round 1 and round 5 were clear as day. In my opinion, round 1 for Islam, round 5 for Volk. But I do think there is an argument to be made that Volk won, or no, that Islam won round 2. Therefore, that would be 4-1 for Islam. But I do think there is an argument to be made that Volk took, I think Volk took 2 and 5. I think you could make the case for round 3. I wouldn't make that case, but you could make that case, okay? I do think there is an argument to be had that Volk won this fight. I just don't buy it. And people saying that Volk won round 4, I think is crazy. What I believe happened in this fight is low expectations, a guy in Alexander Volkanovski that over-delivers, and for some reason, people elevate the performance more than what it was, even though it was a phenomenal performance. People expected Volkanovski to go out there and get mauled. I picked Islam by stoppage. I said it was going to be a very competitive fight, and I thought it would slowly trickle in the favor of Islam. I thought it would start out very, very competitive, slowly but surely trickle to Islam. That's not really what happened. It was competitive all the way throughout. And I think Islam did just what he needed to do on the feet to win this fight. I think he landed the better strikes. And I know there's going to be people who throw out the stats and say this stat this stat that. Volk outstruck him here and there and blah, 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 this and that. And let me just tell you this, guys. Those horseshit stat graphics that you guys share around online are just that. They are horseshit. You don't know who makes those. You can't trust them. I will never use one of those to support my argument, and I will never use one of those to disprove my argument. I'm going to rewatch this fight. But what happened going into this fight was people thought that Volkanovski was going to get steamrolled. Therefore, when he put on an excellent performance and he exceeded expectations, people took that as a win. It's the same thing. that you could say happened with Gustafsson in the first fight. It was a close fight. Gustafsson, and this isn't the same thing because that one was I think that was a little bit closer, but that was so long ago. People expected so lowly of him and expected Jones to absolutely destroy him. The fact that he even made it competitive was shocking. And I really do believe that is the key to people thinking that Volkanovski won this fight. What happened in this fight, and people are just totally ignoring. People thought if Volk can defend the takedowns, if Volk can limit the success of Islam Makhachev's grappling, Volk will win this fight. I thought that. A lot of people thought that. What people are totally discounting was Islam Makhachev striking. Volkanovski, I love Volkanovski. I mean, the guy couldn't be better in defeat. Volkanovski couldn't have said it better in his post-fight. He said, I think he underestimated my grappling, and I think I underestimated his striking. What lost Volkanovski this fight was Islam Makhachev's striking. People are going to look at this fight, and I think they're going to shit on Islam Makhachev. I think it's totally unnecessary. It's because people expected him to steamroll Volkanovski, and that the fact that he didn't and that it was even close, now Islam's some type of bum. It's just not accurate. Volkanovski was the pound-for-pound number one fighter in the world. He put on an incredible performance. This is the best Volkanovski has ever looked in his entire career, in my opinion. He still lost. He still lost, and it was because the striking of Islam Makhachev. That's what happened in this fight. 150%. That is what happened in this fight. He lost because of the striking of Islam Makhachev. People keep bringing up that fourth round. The fourth round. Volkanovski did more damage. It's damage-based scoring in the fourth round, blah, 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 and he threw strikes, and Islam did more damage on the feet in the fourth round than Volkanovski did on the ground. I don't understand this dynamic of MMA fans. After every fight, we have to scream, robbery, 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 robbery. Every fight. Every fight. Fights can be close. You can disagree with the decision. To act like every fight is a robbery is egregious. And it's become the most annoying thing in MMA. Islam Makhachev landed good punches in this fight. Islam Makhachev landed some good knees in this fight. Islam Makhachev had some decent control time in this fight. It was the striking, it was the effectiveness of the striking on the feet in particular that won him this fight. Volkanovski surpassed all expectations. I wasn't counting Volkanovski out in the capacity that I feel others were. The grappling from Volkanovski was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. He was defending takedowns. He was scrambling well. And if he didn't end up in the worst positions with Islam on his back in rounds 1 and round 4, I don't think Islam's keeping him down. I really don't. This is one of my hotter takes here, I guess, kind of, but some people agree with me. Petr Yan is a significantly better fighter than Aljamain Sterling. I would even rate Petr Yan as a better grappler than Aljamain Sterling. People forget Yan made a mistake in 2 rounds, gave up his back. He never did it again. He out-grappled Aljamain Sterling in the 4th or 5th round. If Volkanovski doesn't end up in those bad positions, he made a mistake, recklessly crawling to the fence while he was talking shit to Islam's corner. He gave up his back. That was a massive mistake. May have cost him that round. And the reason I say that is because Islam did good damage on the feet, okay? Islam was waning. The stamina was decreasing. If Volk gets back to the feet last 2 minutes of the 4th round, last minute of the 4th round, whatever it was, maybe it starts to look a lot like the 5th round. And look what happened in the 5th round. And then Volk could have stole that round. But he kind of carelessly got overconfident. He scrambled to the fence. He's talking to the corner. Islam Makhachev takes his back. And then that holds him down for the rest of the round. Those shots, people keep saying, well, what about the shots? The shots from Volk. If Islam got the takedown immediately and that was the entire round, yes, give it to Volk. I do not grade Islam holding Volk's back and Volk landing punches. I do not grade that for Islam. I would grade it for Volk. Give it to Volk, whatever you want to call it. But you have to take into account the striking exchanges earlier on. But Volkanovski, I mean, exceeded all expectations. The stamina looked unbelievable. The grappling looked unbelievable. The scrambles looked unbelievable. I never thought in a million years I'd say this. I can't believe these words are even coming out of my mouth. For the high standard that Volkanovski has set, the striking looked terrible tonight. Okay? And understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying Volkanovski's striking is terrible. For the high standard, you know, the 10 out of 10 striking that we're used to from Volk, he was very sloppy tonight. I think he didn't respect Islam's striking at all, and I think that's what lost him this fight. I would probably pick Volk in a rematch. Because what happened is I think Volk was so heavily focused on the grappling, the defense, that he ended up getting clipped up on the feet. Islam won the majority of the striking exchanges. The most damage that was done on the ground was by Volk in the 5th round. You take all that into account, it's crazy to say it, Volk did more damage on the ground. He was landing some good leg kicks. Islam landed some good body kicks. He landed a head kick. He landed a couple good knees. Volk's sloppy or subpar striking compared to the excellent standard that he has set for himself, okay, is what lost him this fight. And for the people that are going to cry, damage, 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 there was close to no damage done to Islam up until the 5th round. Volkanovski did a little bit of damage with those strikes in the 4th round. Besides a couple leg kicks, it was Volk kind of, you know, I know he landed some good power shots in the 1st and 2nd, okay? And I'm not discounting those completely. But Islam did equal or more. The 2nd round, not as much. I gave that to Volk. The majority of Volk's damage was in the 5th round. That's what I'm trying to say. People are going to sit here and cry, damage, 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 damage. These are the same dumbass people who said O'Malley won round 3 because Jan was cut. Well, then in that case, based on those people's logic, I guess, you know, you can give Islam, was it the 5th round that eyebrow cut opened up? I guess you give Islam round 5 then. I guess you can give Islam round 5. I'm kidding. But you get my point. Islam did more damage, in my opinion, in round 1, in round 3, in round 4. Volk did more damage in round 2 and round 5. 5 was pretty clear. I would not mind seeing Volk fight Islam again. Maybe defend once. Islam defends once. They both win. Match them back up. It's a hell of a matchup. Volkanovski exceeded all expectations. Volkanovski looked incredible. The stamina of Volkanovski is unreal. The submission defense of Volkanovski is unreal. The chin of Volkanovski, there was a few times, there was a power difference in this fight. Islam stung Volkanovski multiple times. It was the underestimating of the striking for Volkanovski. He did not respect Islam on the feet, and that's what lost him the fight, in my opinion. It was not a robbery. I don't think in any capacity that you can call this fight a robbery. If Volk won, I'd be saying, you know, I scored it for Islam, but you could make the case for 2, 3, and 5. You cannot make a case for round 4, in my opinion. I will rewatch the fight tomorrow. I will make a video probably tomorrow. Was Alexander Volkanovski robbed? We will discuss it there. The body kicks of Islam, the knees of Islam, the punches of Islam won him this fight. On the feet, Volkanovski did very little damage outside of that 2nd round. He landed one good shot on the feet in the 1st round. 2nd round, he landed some good shots. Outside of that, he did almost nothing on the feet in round 3, round 4. Round 5, he smashed him on the ground, basically. And Islam was gassed. So, I don't think it was a robbery. I'd love to see it run back. But who wouldn't love to see Islam Makhachev versus Beneil Dariush? And who wouldn't love to see Alexander Volkanovski versus Yair Rodrigues? I would absolutely love to see both those matchups. Book them on the same card. Book them on the same card. Have the winners fight each other. I think Volkanovski's earned it. I really do. I really do think Volkanovski's earned it. I really do think that if Volkanovski can adjust a few things, the way he was able to defend the takedowns, the way he almost took Islam down a couple times, I'd pick Volkanovski probably in a rematch. I'm going to be completely honest. Islam's stamina looks subpar. He was gassed in the 5th round, probably a minute into the 5th round. I would love to see this fight rebooked. I just can't. I can't even imagine scoring this a robbery. But apparently there's some people out there that told me that Rogan did a podcast and he said it was a robbery. So I know where a lot of this is coming from. Some people just regurgitate whatever Rogan says. I think Islam won this fight. I thought it was super competitive. I thought there was some close rounds. But I do believe that Islam won this fight, and he won it primarily with his striking. And I do think there's an argument to be made for 4-1 Islam. I think you can give round 1, round 2, round 4, and I don't know why I said it out of order. Round 1, round 2, round 3, and round 4 for Islam. I think you can make that case. I'm not personally making that case, but you could make that case. Round 5 for Volk and round 1 for Islam, I think, were the most definitive rounds. And again, I would love to see it again. Both guys making minor adjustments. I would love for him to run it back right away. This fight did not get the hype that it deserved. I've been saying that for over a month now. It delivered. Forget about the robbery talk. Forget about the close scorecards. This was a phenomenal fight. This was a back and forth fight. This was the elite of the elite fighting each other. And we have to enjoy that. We have to enjoy this. We can't ruin every fight by crying afterwards. I do believe that Islam winning was the best case scenario. I love Volkanovski. I would say I like Volkanovski more than I like Islam Makhachev, okay? But the reason I think this is such a good scenario, Volk's stock only goes up. Islam's stock, in my opinion, goes up outside of the haters. Volkanovski versus Yair Rodrigues, and we're going to talk about that co-main event here in a second, was amazing. Would be amazing. Who wouldn't want to see that fight? If Volk won, I don't know. I don't know what happens there. Do they do Volk Beneil? Does Volk go down to featherweight and now the lightweight division, who's stacked full of contenders, have to wait? I don't know. I would have loved to see Volk be double champ. He would have been the best double champ of all time. But at the same time, I think his stock goes up. I don't think this loss hurts him at all. But I think had he won, 2 divisions would have kind of been in shambles, if that makes sense. So it's disappointing that, such an amazing fight isn't won. We see these constant rematches. I doubt they run this back. I think they will. They have to book Volkanovski. And Volkanovski, what a savage. He said, I'm ready to jump right back in there with Yair Rodrigues. I think that's the biggest fight right now at featherweight for a long, long time. Yair looked like an absolute killer tonight. We're going to talk about him in 1 second. But it was an amazing fight. Don't let the robbery talk. Don't let all the bullshit surrounding Volkanovski versus Islam. Don't let it ruin the fact that this was a high-level fight with massive stakes on the line, where both guys fought their heart out, and it was the elite of the elite, and both guys looked incredible. One thing I want to mention, I don't feel like I harped on enough, Volkanovski had some very good leg kicks in this fight, but it was almost like, I don't know, it was like I don't want to say he was worried about the takedown because he was moving forward, throwing combinations. But I think he underestimated Islam's striking so much, he thought he was just going to land with wild winging combinations. He was not the crisp striker we saw against Max Holloway in the third fight. But he was landing some good leg kicks. He didn't have a whole lot of success on the feet. I know we've already talked about that ad nauseum. But there you go. That's the main event. Islam Makhachev won. He wins via decision. People underestimated Alexander Volkanovski. He fought an incredible fight. And his stock does not go down by any means. Moving on to the co-main event. We're already a half hour into the live stream. Moving on to the co-main event. We have Yair Rodrigues versus Josh Emmett. What an incredible fight. We have a second round triangle choke for Yair Rodrigues. What a fight, guys. What a fight. I got to take a drink. The fight was so good. By the way, guys, I'll be taking questions at the end of the stream. So save your questions for the end of the stream. Do me a favor. If you guys have not yet liked this stream, like this stream. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're watching and you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel right this very second. Co-main event, Yair Rodrigues, Josh Emmett. Yair Rodrigues is your new interim featherweight champion. I mean, what a fight. What a fight. This was an incredible fight. People constantly disrespecting Josh Emmett. He went out there and put on an exciting fight. And, you know, we'll talk about it round by round first. First round, Yair was lighting him up with body kicks. Hurt him multiple times with body kicks. But somehow Josh was just gritting through it. Yair was landing some good calf kicks. Yair's hands, which I talked about in the prediction, Yair's hands were looking much improved. I think his hands really did a lot in this first round. He was landing some good punches and in the fight in general. Lighting Josh Emmett up. Being super risky though. Like the way he was just throwing out there. He was being like leaving his chin open. He just thought Josh Emmett has nothing for me. The way Yair fought. And in that first round, after Yair beats up the body, beats up the calves, lands some hard punches, he eats a massive right hand, which I told you guys, Josh Emmett is a family dollar Michael Chandler. He is a family dollar Michael Chandler. He dips down, he lunges in with the massive right hand, and Yair goes to the ground. Yair goes to the ground. Emmett gets on top of him, starts throwing heavy ground to pound. Yair, I've talked about this before with guys who fall in love with submissions. Some guys will so desperately go for submissions and they're so in love with the submissions, they leave themselves susceptible to massive ground and pound. And Yair was trying to scramble, trying to set up arm bars, trying to set up triangles. And Emmett landing big punches, big elbows. Not a whole lot of them, but enough where it was having a massive effect. And then at the end of the first round, Yair started to throw those, what I like to call prime Tony Ferguson elbows. Just slamming the elbow down into the face of Josh Emmett, posting off the face, bringing the elbow down, busting Josh Emmett up. This was a tough round to score. I don't even remember who I gave it to. I think you have to give it to Emmett. I don't remember who I gave it to in the I don't remember who I gave it to in live. I don't know. I guess you have to give it to Yair. That's a tough, tricky round to score. I would give it to Emmett. He dropped Yair, landed some brutal ground and pound, but does that counteract? I don't know. Round one was up for debate. I really don't know who you could give it to just because it was so crazy and wild. But what I saw in round one, I was like, either one of these guys can win this fight. I picked Yair by first round KO. Come out in the second round, Yair's lighting him up with body kicks again. Then starts spamming head kicks. Even the ones that are blocked are so heavy and hard. At one point, Yair lands there like clinched up for a second. Yair throws an elbow in the clinch. And then Yair throws a flying knee. And I thought he was going to put Josh Emmett out. And I picked Yair via KO, via knee. I said step in knee. But nonetheless. And Emmett catches him and takes him down. after he takes him down, I was thinking Emmett's going to start landing some ground and pound. I said this in my prediction video. Yair is one of the very few fighters that goes out there, and I genuinely feel like everyone's trying to get a win, everyone's trying to get a knockout. I feel like Yair's going out there to hurt somebody badly. Badly. As soon as he ends up on the ground, he starts slamming those prime Tony Ferguson elbows down to Josh Emmett. Starts beating Josh Emmett up with hammer fists from the bottom. Reminded me more violently in this fight. Tony Ferguson, Danny Castillo. Tony Ferguson was getting taken down, controlled, throwing shots on the bottom, and won the fight via decision. Smashes him with these shots, these elbows. They're hurting Emmett. At this point, Emmett's questioning whether or not he even wants to be on the ground. And then he's kind of stacking him a little bit, starting to look for some ground and pound. And boom. Yair, slick submission, locks up the triangle. Emmett taps out. What a performance by Yair. He's the new interim featherweight champion. I was super impressed with Yair. I said it, in my prediction video talking about him versus Ortega, that people were saying that Yair got a fluky win over Ortega, and I kind of understand it, but Yair's very slick off his back, and he was setting up an armbar, and Ortega pulled it out and dislocated his shoulder. So I just think Yair's ever evolving, ever improving, and I think his jiu-jitsu's a threat. I think his power's a threat. I think his kicks have always been a threat. And now you have to take into account his hands are getting better. His toughness is unquestioned. His ferocity. Yair Rodrigues might have the best ferocity in all of MMA. That's a weird thing to say. Dude is out there to hurt guys. And what I thought would happen in this fight, I thought Yair would start lighting Josh Emmett up, and I thought Josh Emmett would start trying to wrestle. Josh Emmett never really, he got the takedown off the flying knee, but it kind of just presented itself. There was never once where Josh Emmett seemed like, all of a sudden he's going to start looking for takedowns. And Yair's just unbelievable. Yair may beat Volk. As good as Volk looked tonight against Islam, Yair may beat Volk. The jiu-jitsu looks incredible. The striking looks incredible. All aspects of the striking looked incredible. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal performance by Yair. I can't wait to see him fight Volkanovski. And let me just say this. If Yair takes a more measured approach against Josh Emmett, I don't think Josh Emmett touches him. He got a little risky. He got a little wild. He was squaring up in the pocket with Emmett while he was landing. And he almost paid the price in that first round. He ultimately didn't. If Yair comes out and fights a measured approach against Josh Emmett, I think Yair finishes him. Never's in trouble, never gets touched. Yair Rodrigues is one of the most dynamic strikers we've ever seen. He's still very young. He's still evolving in the sport. Every time out, he looks incredible. And I'm curious how a Yair Rodrigues title shot against Alexander Volkanovski is going to look. Because the striking I saw from Volk tonight, he's going to have to grapple Yair Rodrigues. And he's going to have to grapple him early and often. Yair's an animal. He won the 5th round against Max Holloway, arguably. And he beat the living shit out of Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett may retire. He's in his late 30s. He had a shot at gold. He got the shit beat out of him. And, I don't know if there's anybody with better kicks in the game than Yair Rodrigues right now. And he put on a masterclass against Emmett. And again, if he wasn't reckless, if he was not reckless, I do believe that he doesn't get touched by Josh Emmett. I really do believe that. It's one of those fights, the beating of Josh Emmett. Not that Josh Emmett's on Volkanovski's level at all. I thought Josh Emmett would easily lose to Volkanovski. But the way he beat Josh Emmett down, in my mind, Volkanovski versus Rodrigues has to be a main event. That's a massive fight. I would be super stoked for that matchup. And shout out to Volk, because guess what? He says he wants to get right back in there. Yair didn't take a whole lot of damage tonight. I mean, he got rocked. He's going to need a couple months. Book that for 288 in May. Book that for 288 in May. If you don't want to see Yair Rodrigues versus Volkanovski, I don't know what to tell you. That's going to be an incredible fight. Yair's super dynamic. And he's ever improving every time out. I think Volk's going to have to wrestle Yair early and often if he wants to win that fight. So, I'm super impressed. Not a whole lot to discuss because it didn't last super long. But Yair's looking like a world beater at this point in time. Looking like a world beater. And the fact that he's adding the jiu-jitsu in the submission game on top of his elite level dynamic striking, especially his kicks, Yair is going to be a tough out for anybody, including Volkanovski. Incredible performance. Really looking forward to him versus Volkanovski. And that's why I think it's kind of the best case scenario that Islam lost. Because going back down and fighting Yair, I think is going to be incredible. And I think it's going to be a massive fight. And I think it's the biggest fight in the featherweight division in a long time. Okay, moving down the card. We're not going to talk about a whole lot more in terms of the card. Jack Della Maddalena, Randy Brown. This should have been a main prelim, feature prelim, whatever you want to call it. It's a feature fight on the main card. It is what it is. We'll talk about it real quick. Jack Della Maddalena finishes Randy Brown via first round rear naked choke. Randy Brown was doing very good with the range, and he was showing the reach and height advantage. And I was wondering, okay, what's going to happen here? Because Maddalena's throwing combinations, but he's not really connecting. He's like a foot away every time he throws. Randy Brown circling well. Well, halfway through, a little bit over halfway through, maybe through the first round, he closes the distance. He gets a little bit more explosive. He clips Randy Brown right on the temple. Drops him. Randy Brown's trying to scramble back to his feet. Jumps on the rear naked choke immediately. And gets a rear naked choke. First round rear naked choke for Jack Della Maddalena. Who would have picked that one? I picked Jack Della Maddalena first round TKO. Came close. Came very close. But to get that rear naked choke, I mean, that was incredible. That happened 2 times tonight. There was a fight earlier where a guy got dropped, started to kind of belly down and put his hands on the ground to get back up, and got rear naked choked as well. And that's kind of what happened here. But Jack Della Maddalena is a contender at welterweight. I know he says he wants a vacation. I'd love to see him step in there against Michel Pereira, and I'd pick him. And Michel Pereira is ranked, I believe, still. He was supposed to fight Sean Brady. Sean Brady fell out. Booked that fight. Jack Della Maddalena, officially a contender. And Randy Brown's no easy fight. And the fact that all of his UFC fights, for Jack has finished in the first round, incredible. Really looking forward to his next fight. I think his next fight is really going to be the one that tells us whether or not he's elite. So, it's going to be super intriguing. I hope they book him against a ranked guy. I think they will book him against a ranked guy. And Jack Della Maddalena will be a contender in 2024 is my best guess. Moving down the card, no. Quick thoughts. Justin Tafa brutally KOs Parker Porter in the first round. It is what it is. I mean, Parker Porter looked okay. Was moving forward, rushing forward, gets clipped with a big left hand. Was out, then eats an uppercut while he's falling face first to the canvas. These are 2 low-level heavyweights. Not really a whole lot to analyze there. Moving down the card, and I think we're only going to talk about the main card. So if you guys have questions right now, put the questions in the chat. Put some question marks so I can try to sift through. I would greatly appreciate it. But I want to touch on the fight that opened up the main card. Jimmy Crute, Alonzo, Menifield. It ends in a draw. I don't even know what to say about this fight. Just back and forth. Jimmy Crute looked I don't even know what the word for it is. Jimmy Crute looked awful on the feet. His feet were close together at all times. He's getting rung up by Alonzo Menifield left and right. First round, he started with some grappling, got Menifield down. But Menifield hit him so many times, and at one point, Jimmy Crute goes for a guillotine and then gets, they end up back on their feet. I gave round 1 to Menifield. Round 2, Menifield was lighting up Jimmy Crute some more. Jimmy Crute looked like, he literally looked like he had traumatic brain injury before he came into the fight. The footwork was horrible. The striking looked the worst I've ever seen it. I don't even know if he's training. I hate to say that as a non-fighter. He looked horrible in this fight. I seen somebody tweet out, I don't remember who it was. Yeah, Jimmy Crute lost, but he has a bright future. Or Jimmy Crute, it's a draw, but he has a bright future. Second round, Menifield lit him up again. Brutalized him in the second round. Almost finishes him multiple times. At the end of the first round, he KO'd him, but it was right at the end of the bell, and he kind of shot in on a single leg with like 5 seconds to go. And then the bell rung and saved him. Second round, he got brutalized, but, he had a little bit of success with the grappling and whatnot. Third round, Jimmy Crute's in on a takedown. Alonzo Menifield, as Jimmy Crute's taking him to the ground, grabs the fence. It's so egregious. Mark Goddard stops the fight, takes a point, then puts him in a 50-50 clinch position. I do applaud Goddard for taking the point, but I don't think he made the right move. He should have then put Menifield down on the ground. It should have been a takedown. So therefore, now you have a case where Menifield wins the first 2 rounds, 10-9, most likely. And now you have a third round where if Jimmy Crute wins, which he then takes him down, that you could get a 10-8 for Jimmy Crute. Now, Jimmy Crute dominated the third round. He had no energy to throw shots, but he dominated the third round. I thought you could make a case for a 10-8 round without the point deduction. And then with the point deduction, you could make this a 10-7 round. And then therefore Jimmy Crute would have won. Now, I'm glad that didn't happen. It ends in a draw. Both guys look horrible. I never want to see him fight again. Jimmy Crute, I don't know did anybody else notice his footwork? Did anybody else notice his footwork? Horrible. His feet super close together. The striking looked atrocious. I never want to see Jimmy Crute fight again. I hope he got a CT scan. I'm scared he's going to die. I don't know. He looked like it before he got hurt, but after he got hurt, he just looked bad. Looked really bad. Alonzo Menifield's cardio looked terrible. Both were gassed in like midway through the second round. Neither guy's ever going to rise to the top of a light heavyweight division that's not particularly deep. And I just wanted to mention that. Jimmy Crute looked awful. He does not have a bright future. And, it was just a horrible performance by both guys, in my opinion. Okay. If you guys have questions, throw them in the chat. I'm going to get the questions here in a second. The chat is just popping off. Let's do a poll real quick before I even get into the questions. And I'm not talking about the rest of the card. The card, it is what it is. Was Volk robbed? Let's do it. Let's see what the chat thinks. We'll get back to that poll in a second. Let's see if I can collapse poll. Nope. Of course I can't. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Go vote in the poll in the chat. All right. Let's take a look. What you guys are saying. He said we'll run it back. He didn't ask for a rematch, you clown. Okay, that's not a question. If you guys put a question in the chat, try to put a question mark. I'm trying to sift through hundreds of messages here, okay? And if you're spamming, I'm going to time you out. Because I don't want to, I'm trying to sift through the chat. Who has a better chance at beating Islam, Beneil or Rafael? I think they both have a very good chance. If I had to pick one, I'll say Rafael Fiziev. If Rafael Fiziev can defend those takedowns, dude, Rafael is nasty on the feet. After tonight, I'd probably pick Rafael Fiziev over Islam. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm not committed to that, but maybe. Okay, let's see. Give Volk round 2 where he got hurt badly and got a takedown shot on him that looked like a drop in the fourth because shots from his back. Okay, you're talking to someone else. Question marks. Question marks, guys. Yeah, I'm trying to find the questions, but I'm scrolling through here and I'm just seeing a bunch of idiots spamming some stuff. Let's time this guy out. Okay. This guy said Volk dominated class, dismissed. Yeah, that's terrible. Notice they kept saying Volk versus Yair for distraction, but they won't say who Makhachev fights next. Makhachev fights Beneil or Rafael Fiziev if he beats Gaethje. One or the other. I wouldn't have a problem if they booked a rematch. But then you got to do an interim. I don't know. It's just going to clog up 2 divisions if you do the rematch. That's going to suck if they clog. So let them fight both to have a title defense. Yair and Jonathan Rodrigues both have some of the best kicks in the game. Okay. Exactly. So it's still competitive. Makes it look closer. Volk made him chicken dance. I don't think so, but okay. Islam, Habib, Josh Thompson, right. Volk is a champ. Okay. He literally beat him. Okay. I wouldn't mind seeing it again, but I don't think it was a robbery by any means. Joey, did you see DC had it 3-2 Volk? I did not see that. Where did you see that at? I don't know how anyone could say definitively that Volk won that fight. The only people that are saying that vastly underestimated Volkanovski, and therefore the fact that he did so well surprised them so much that they're giving him rounds he shouldn't get. I didn't underestimate Volkanovski in that capacity, so that's why I don't feel that way. Yeah, Jimmy got lucky they took that point. Yes, he did. He should have lost the fight. Okay, come on. Come on. If you guys are going to spam messages, you're getting timed out. And Volk said, I quote, I was not prepared. I pulled up short. Shit, if you think I won, I'm not saying that on post-fight interview. If I think I won, I'm not saying that on post-fight interview. Volk's a classy guy. But yeah, I think even Volk thought he came up short. I do think he did. And it is what it is. I mean, people are sore losers for fighters they've never met in their entire life. I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, so the polls razor close. I heard the scorecards were terrible. They were not terrible. They were good. Exactly what I said, 60% of Western social media. Yeah, social media is a small portion of the world. You know, a lot of people don't even get on social media. But yeah, apparently Rogan said Volk won, so. Everyone, okay, I'm not even reading that. Questions, guys. Volk is pound for pound number 1. Okay. Round 1 and 3 were close. I thought round 1 and 3 went to Volk. I had a 3-2 for Volk. Very close fight. Who do you got in Beneil versus Islam? I think if Beneil moves backwards, he definitely wins. Dude, I don't know. It's tough to say because I'm so high on Volkanovski. I don't know if Beneil... You also have to take into account that this fight is going to open up the eyes for Islam Makhachev. This fight is going to open up the eyes for Islam Makhachev, and he's only going to train harder for his next fight. I will go Islam solely based on the fact Islam's striking. I think Islam can outstrike Beneil Dariush. How did Volk win 3 rounds and lose the fight? He didn't do more damage. I disagree with you, so you're wrong. Okay, that's not a good question. Islam going to fight Dustin? Is Volk versus Yair the biggest featherweight title fight since Conor Aldo? Yes. I said that earlier in the stream. I don't know if you were here or not. I believe that's the biggest featherweight fight since Aldo Conor. It's massive. It is a massive fight. I mean, I am literally salivating at the fact of seeing Yair versus Volk. As good as Volk looked tonight, I don't know. He's going to have to do a grappling heavy game plan against Yair. And maybe he does. But the striking of Yair is just filthy. If Islam fights Dustin, I'll be disgusted. Absolutely not. Stop rewarding stalling. Well, you're not rewarding stalling if he wins the fight by doing damage on the feet. Joe, if you're in Volk's shoes and think you won, are you saying in the post fight I was not prepared? I pulled up short? Absolutely not. But Volk's a classy guy. Even if he thought he won, he knows it's a bad look to sit there and cry and say you won, especially in a close fight. It's just a very razor close fight in most people's eyes. I don't think it was as close as people were making it out to be. But I don't think it's a good look if you come out and cry and whine. But how could you say 49-46 clearly is a good scorecard? LOL, how? Islam could have took 1 through 4. The only round that was clear as day was round 5 for Volk. Go rewatch the fight again and don't use your biased opinion. I don't have a biased opinion, dude. Stop crying. UFC 284 pay-per-views buys below 100K? No. I think it's going to do really well. Not great. Beneil does have good power. Rogan said Volk won. Why is that always wrong? Yeah, that's what somebody told me, so I might be wrong. Do I care about Islam versus Dustin? I absolutely do not care, and I don't want to see it at all. It's 3-2 Islam. Listen, I wanted Volk to win, but sadly he lost. Yeah, people, they had such low expectations that because Volk did so well, they think he won. How do you think Islam does against Volk if he gets 36 hours dehydration time as opposed to 20? I don't know, man. I think this pay-per-view did like 400,000 or 500,000 buys. Islam surprised me with his striking. Volk surprised me with his wrestling. Yep, exactly. That's what I went over earlier. That's what happened. This was an awesome fight. It's far from a robbery, but it's very competitive. In my opinion, I give that fight to Volk based off how he finished the 5th. Well, that's not how scoring works, but I get what you're saying. Was rooting for Volk, but had it 48-47 Islam. Could you see why people had it 48-47 Volk, but it was not a robbery? Yeah, it wasn't a robbery. It absolutely was not a robbery. Thoughts on Andrade replacement Blanchfield? I'm disappointed. I think Andrade is tougher than Talia Santos for Blanchfield, and I thought Blanchfield would probably beat what's her name? Talia Santos. Yeah, but is Islam as good as Khabib? What do you think about Volk or versus Khabib? I've always thought Khabib is better than Islam. I think Islam has better striking technique, but the capacity at which Khabib puts crazy pressure on guys and makes them fight a totally different fight, Khabib is just a different animal, in my opinion. Just a different animal. But Volk versus Khabib, I think Khabib, if he gets Volk down the way Islam did, I think Khabib just has ferocious ground and pound. So I think he would do more damage on the ground. Who do you think wins, Andrade or Blanchfield? I'm 50-50 on that one. I haven't decided yet. I haven't really had time to think about it. It was announced like right before I jumped on stream, and then I've been thinking about the fights. Is this fight Islam's Kelvin Gastelum moment? I don't know. I just know that the key factor that people are totally discounting are what Islam did on the feet. Dude, I'm reading to see if there's any breaking news. Yeah. Nothing really crazy, I don't think. Nothing really crazy. Is there anything that's been announced? What a crazy fight. What a crazy fight. Volkanovski says, I definitely want that fight back. Yeah, I want to see it. I'd like to see it ran back. Imagine they both go out and get one win and then fight again. Imagine Islam beats Beneil, Volk beats Yair. That fight would be massive. How do you think Islam would do at welterweight? He would lose. He would get mauled. He's not taking down guys like Hamzat or Usman or Leon. That hype is gone. But this could be one of those moments. This could be one of those forks in the road where now Islam is going to improve vastly from this fight. What could Volk have done differently to win the fight via decision? In that 4th round, when he crawls to the fence Instead of being so careless and end up getting caught in a triangle, body triangle, if he gets back to the feet and lands some good shots on the feet, he could win. Because Islam outstruck him in that 4th round before the takedown happened, which cemented that round for him. But that was a craziness. Volk is on EPO. I've been saying it for a while. He sure does fight like it, but I'm not going to make those accusations. How do you think? Yeah, Islam would not do good at welterweight. Habib applies crazy pressure. I'm sad Habib retired. Is this the closest and best champ fight ever? Probably. Yes, I think it is. I think it is. How does Yair do against Volk? After the way Yair looked tonight, I couldn't be higher on Yair. After the way Volk looked tonight, I couldn't be happier I couldn't be higher on Volkanovski. I may pick Volk. No, I may pick Yair, I mean. Volk's going to have to grapple Yair. Yair will light Volk up on the feet. So, Volk's going to have to take him down and beat the piss out of him with the ground and pound. Give him some Brian Ortega after he escaped a submission attempt type ground and pound. That's what's going to have to happen there. But I'm dying to see that matchup. All right, I'm going to end the poll. 51% say Volk was not robbed. So there you go. The internet has spoken. Josh had nothing for Yair other than a big right hand, but that was only because what's-his-name was getting... That's because what-his-name was getting reckless. Do you think Islam was gassed and the weight cut was brutal on him? I think the weight cut affects him. He wasn't gassed until like a minute into the 5th round. It was a grueling fight though. Volk decimates Yair? Maybe. I mean, it's an early prediction. Not a good look for Islam. I think it's a great look. People are just shitting on him for no reason. I mean, he put on one of the best fights we could ever imagine. Who cares who won or whatnot? It was an amazing fight. High level fight for both guys. Yair was just on point tonight. Who would you be picking in a Fiziev Islam fight? I already said I'd probably pick Fiziev, but I don't know. Islam rode the clock. Okay. Well, in the 5th round, he was done. He was exhausted. And he just, once he ended up on the ground, he just held the body lock and then prayed that the round would end. Islam beats number 1 pound for pound. It's an amazing look. And it was a great fight. People were ruining it. People are ruining it by crying about the decision. It was a great fight. Both guys' stock went up. We couldn't ask for a better outcome. Islam versus Conor confirmed. Trust me, dude. After watching that, I don't think Conor has the wrestling defense that Conor does. Or I don't think Conor has the wrestling defense that Volk does. I said that wrong. I'm tired. I've been streaming for now like 7 hours basically. They both negated each other's strengths. I know people aren't at the end of the day, guys. We have to accept this fight for what it was. Forget about the decision for a second. It was an incredible fight. Super high level display of MMA in general for the highest stakes with both guys putting it all on the line. Appreciate it for what it is. We have to stop crying about every fight that's competitive. Robbery this, robbery that. But yeah, if I think Conor's licking his lips after seeing what Volk was able to do tonight. I think he's licking his lips. I could see Yair KOing Volk. As crazy as that sounds, I'm not wrong. Don't disagree. True amazing fight, past my expectations bar for sure. Exactly, it was incredible. If Volk keeps training the grappling, he'll be something dangerous on the ground. What's crazy is it's hard to imagine anyone beating Volk, but then at the same time, Yair looks so good that I can imagine Yair winning. What a night, guys. What a night. Joey, my picks were 9-3-1. Congrats. I went 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I went 7-5-1. Not horrible, not great. Not horrible, not great. Plus, there was one robbery. There's one robbery in there. Earlier tonight, the first fight on the card was a robbery. Tukhugov won that fight. Could Conor win? Could Conor beat Islam? Maybe on PEDs. Maybe on PEDs. I don't know. After tonight, if Conor came back with amazing takedown defense, dude, he would bash Islam's brains in on the feet. So, do you think Justin Gaethje can beat Islam? Absolutely not. I think Islam would finish Justin Gaethje easily. Why do you think a rematch won't happen? There's too many more lucrative fights. I think Volk versus Yair is massive. So I think they'll each fight a fight and then hopefully rematch after they both win their next fights. Volk deserves a shot. After tonight, Volk deserves a rematch to fight for the belt again. Guys, do me a favor. We have like 130 people in the chat. Scroll down and like the stream. I would greatly appreciate it. It helps support the channel. Also, if you're watching and you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. I'll be putting out videos tomorrow. I might even do a stream tomorrow. Also, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MMAJoeyC. If you want to see my streaming setup, I just posted a picture of my streaming setup today. So you'll see exactly what I'm looking at. I posted it on my Instagram. It's at MMAJoeyC, Twitter and Instagram. But yeah, we're cruising to 8,000 subs. We'll be there very, very soon. But tomorrow's video will be, was Alexander Volkanovski robbed against Islam Makhachev at UFC 284? Y'all will be sad when Yair gets KO'd in 2 rounds. That'd be incredible. Is there a valid contender other than Volk for Islam right now? Beneil. Fiziev if he beats Gaethje. Islam versus Volk 2 next year again in Australia would be massive. Sign me up. They both go win one fight and then they rematch immediately after they both win one fight. I know we risk the chance of them losing, but that's the fight game. That's the fight game. That's the fight game. Tonight we witnessed a historic fight. It was an amazing fight, guys. And people are letting the decision cloud their enjoyment. Joey, could you see Beneil giving Islam a harder fight? It's possible. It's very possible. Beneil has excellent takedown defense. But I don't know. I think Islam's striking is leveling up left and right. How did the Perth crowd do? The Perth crowd was incredible. I think we might see them fight 3-4 times. I hope so. Listen, dude. Okay. If you're going to spam, you're getting timed out. And I believe there's no tougher test at lightweight if someone can copy Alex's game plan, maybe. Dude, what's crazy, I don't think Volk was prepared for the level of striking that Islam had. I know that sounds crazy. I think if Volk fought more technical on the feet, he could have won this fight. Because I think he was just being sloppy because he thought Islam had nothing for him on the feet. I really think that's what happened there. Usman Nurmagomedov Islam dream fight? Sure enough. That'd be craziness. Also, Randy Brown was doing great until he stopped throwing jabs and front kicks. It happened so fast, man. Why does Volk deserve a second fight when it's not his division? That's why I said he's going to go earn it. But he did very well. I think it's possible both guys underestimated in their respective areas. I agree. Now, I could see Beneil catching Islam. Could happen. Look what he did to Gamrot. Not that that's the same thing. Tonight we saw the Islam has respectable punching power. That he does. You cannot copy takedown defense skills. That is true. That is true. Can't wait to rewatch tomorrow. I will be rewatching tomorrow as well. Not a robbery. Islam had a lot of control time and some great moments on the feet. Agreed. Good counters. Good counters. Islam fought better a striking fight than Holloway. I agree. I agree. That's crazy to say, but I agree. The story of this fight was Islam Makhachev's striking skills. Volkanovski looked very good, but it was the anti-grappling of Volkanovski that looked incredible. I think people just underestimated Volk, and so because he achieved so much in this fight, they think he won. I really do. Because if you really think about it, there was not a whole lot of damage outside of that second round that Volk did on the feet. Really nothing. I think it's pretty clear Islam won. But it was a competitive fight. I do understand the argument to be made. I set my soda down and can't find it. Joey, help me, brother. I don't know what to tell you. Joey, I'm half drunk at 3 p.m. going to hang out with Ty and the crew. Wish me luck. I wish you luck. I wish you luck. Everyone wish you luck. I'm tired as hell. I'm tired as hell. Guys, if you have any final questions, if you want to throw out, you stole your mom's credit card tonight and you want to throw out a $500 super chat, feel free. I'm going to stay on for probably another 5-10 minutes. Australian crowd was amazing. Exact opposite of Brazil. Agreed. 100%. Oh, they were pissed when Volk lost, too. They were pissed. I remember input a comment, Benil would be champ by 2023. I think I can find it, but I hope he gets his shot. I hope he's next. Joey, maybe you can wake up with a clear head. Volk 1, 2, 3. Shut up. Shut up, dude. I'm going to rewatch it tomorrow. I'm going to be tired as hell tomorrow, but I'm going to rewatch it. I could see Volk dominating Yair for 5 rounds with wrestling or Yair King Volk. It's probably one or the other for sure. I'm so sad. I got in a huge fight after the main event. There's nothing you can do now. Nothing you can do now, man. That does suck, though. Kind of a mood killer, right? At least they weren't Brazil. Shaking my head. They walked out on Glover. Yeah, that was an embarrassment. That was an embarrassment for sure. What a night, guys. What a night. I can't wait to see outside of the chat bubble here. I can't wait to see what the reaction is online. I haven't really looked other than looking for any, breaking news tweets. But, yeah, what a performance by Volk. What a performance by Volk. What a performance by Islam. I don't think Islam's getting enough credit for this performance, to be quite honest. Besides everything that happened in that tonight, that ref was pink as F. Yeah. I don't understand all the crying about Volk being robbed and no one standing up. Yeah, exactly. Tuhugov got robbed. Nah, Islam won. I thought it was pretty concise. Islam won. Unfortunate. But I think this is going to elevate Volk. Yair's def top 3 fighters of mine now. Yeah. I mean, he looked incredible tonight. And he's such an exciting fighter. He's kind of a dick. But as far as top 3 fighters to watch, he's up there for sure. He's up there for sure. What a night, guys. I appreciate all you guys for joining me. If you want to see all my reactions, I did a live. I'm so tired, my brain's in the mush. I did a live watch along. Let's see, UFC 284. I did a live watch along, and you can watch all my reactions in real time. Everyone's streaming the post-fight press conference right now. Let's see what this is. Post-fight presser. Yair's talking right now, apparently. Yair's stock went through the roof as well. Yair's stock went through the roof. What a fight, guys. What an incredible fight. All right. Let's get some final questions in. We went an hour and 10 minutes. What do you think of the idea that interim belts should be silver? I like it. I hate interim belts in general. If you're in Perth on Bound Drinks at the Lookout, are you really going to hang out with Ty? Outstruck by 60 strikes? No. Couldn't get his striking going, but outstruck Islam? No, he didn't get outstruck by it. He didn't outstrike Islam. Islam outstruck him on the feet. Those stats are off. Early prediction, Yair Volk. I gotta go Volk, but, I mean, it's tough. The stats don't mean shit, guys. Don't worry about the stats. Don't worry about the stats at all. Let me see. Edit. Monetization. Add. Okay. That doesn't work. Cancel. Question of the night. Remember a few nights ago I told you Dana wasn't fighting UFC 284? Why wasn't he there tonight? I know, it's weird. I wonder what's going on. In the chat, let me know. Who are you picking, Yair or Volk? Yair or Volk, guys? Yair or Volk? I'm curious. Yair or Volk? I'm genuinely curious. What's the chat taking? I had an Islam 3-2. I agree with that. It's damage-based sport. Yep, and Islam did more damage. Joey Polo and Yair Volk. Okay, we'll do it. Just let me know in the chat. Just type the name. If you can't type the name in the chat, Volk, Volk, Volk. Everyone going Volk. Yair looks so incredible tonight. Yeah. Ty said yesterday he'll be at the Lookout. I'm heading there. Let me know how it goes. Let me know how it goes. Volk by sub. I'm taking Volk. His strength is insane. Dude, he's so big and strong. Such a big, strong gentleman. It's 2:30 a.m. right now, guys. I'm taking Volk. His strength is insane. I think I just read that, actually. That's how dumb I am right now. Yeah. What a night, guys. What a night. I'm so tired of this. Oh, so-and-so won. Why can't we just enjoy the fight? Why can't that be a minute detail? You thought someone else won. Congrats. Congrats, congrats, congrats. But everyone thought Volk won where we were watching it. Yeah, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. Guys, like the stream, subscribe to the channel, and I want you to do me one more favor. I found this channel that's doing a UFC 284 live stream. I don't know what exactly their channel does. It's about MMA. I don't know how long it's been around. I just found it when searching for it. These guys are doing a live stream right now. I'm going to put the link in the chat. They're talking about UFC 284. I want you to go tell them MMA Joey sent you. MMA Joey sent you. I'm going to send the link in the chat in 1 second. Pay-per-view buys at 284. No, it's not going to be below 100K. I hope the Weasel does a robbery video. I will. It was great. I can't say robbery until I rewatch. Hands down, awesome fight, though. Agreed. It does because it ruins legacies, but okay. Bro, Volk lost to, but Islam barely won. There you go. The crowd reaction swayed people. Islam connected many times in control, but Volk could beat him for sure in a rematch. Definitely. Shame when decisions blur out a great fight. Agreed. Agreed 100%. Just tuning in, who do you think won? I thought Islam won. Joey, did you hear Usman is out with a hand injury? No, you're lying. You're full of shit. You're about to get banned for that. You're about to get banned for that. I hate that type of dumb shit. Listen, guys, I found this stream. Let me make sure they're still streaming. Let me go. Okay, yeah, I have it open. Go raid this stream and tell them MMA Joey sent you. Show them some support. It's an MMA channel. I've never heard of it before, but I just found it. Go raid them and tell them MMA Joey sent you. The link is in the chat. Don't forget to like this stream before you go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go like their stream. Subscribe to their channel. Show them some support. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. Tell them MMA Joey sent you. Everyone go to the link in the chat. Thank you guys for watching. I will talk to you guys tomorrow, and enjoy the rest of your night. Good night.